Biochar might be the most underrated thing you can add to your spring garden soil. And if your beds are either soggy bricks or dry as toast, this one's for you. Welcome to RootInsect.com.
It really is one of those materials people hear about, nod politely, and then never actually try. But once you understand what it does, it makes a lot of sense, especially in spring when you're trying to set the whole season up right.
So for anybody hearing the word and thinking it sounds like something from a blacksmith shop, what is biochar in plain English?
In plain English, it's a charcoal-like soil amendment made by heating organic material, like wood chips or crop residue, with very little oxygen. That process creates a stable, porous carbon material. And those pores are the magic. They help hold water, hold nutrients, and give beneficial microbes a place to live.
So it's not fertilizer by itself.
Right, and that's where people sometimes get disappointed. Biochar isn't a bag of instant plant food. Think of it more like building better real estate in your soil. It improves the neighborhood so nutrients and microbes stick around longer.
I like that. It's soil property development.
Slightly less annoying than actual property development.
Fair. One thing I found interesting is how useful it can be in opposite kinds of soils. Heavy clay and sandy soil both benefit, which sounds a little suspicious at first.
It does sound suspicious, but it checks out. In clay, biochar can help with aeration and reduce compaction, so roots can push down more easily. In sandy soil, it helps hang on to moisture and nutrients that would otherwise wash through. Same amendment, different benefit depending on what you're starting with.
And spring is when that matters most, because if you've got erratic rainfall, your soil can swing from swampy to dusty in a week.
Exactly. Biochar's porous structure buffers some of that. Plus, it sticks around for a very long time. We're not talking one season and done. It's stable in the soil for hundreds of years. So you're making a long-term improvement, not just patching a short-term problem.
That's the part gardeners love and hate. Love the long-term benefit. Hate paying for it up front.
I knew you'd get to price. And you're not wrong. Good biochar can cost more than basic amendments. But if it helps reduce how much fertilizer and watering you need over time, it starts making more sense.
I'm still cheap.
You are. You once tried to stretch potting mix with leaf mold and optimism.
And I'll do it again.
But this is where choosing the right product matters. Not all biochar is the same. Feedstock makes a difference. Wood-based biochar is common, but some products use agricultural residues or manure, and each one can have a different nutrient profile and pH.
That's an important point, especially the pH part. A lot of biochar runs a bit alkaline, right?
Usually, yes. So if your soil is acidic, that can be helpful. If your soil is already on the alkaline side, you don't want to ignore that. And particle size matters too. Smaller particles tend to blend in better with sandy soils, while chunkier material can help open up tight clay.
So this isn't just grab any black bag off the shelf and hope for the best.
No, and I also tell people not to apply it raw and expect miracles. Charge it first.
That phrase always sounds dramatic. What do you mean by charge it?
Mix the biochar with compost or manure before you put it in the ground. A 50-50 mix is a solid starting point. That lets the pores fill with nutrients and microbes instead of pulling nutrients from the soil at the beginning. Then work it into the top 6 to 12 inches of soil, so it's right where roots and soil life are active.
That's such a useful tip because I think people skip that step and then blame the biochar.
They do. It's like buying a pantry and wondering why dinner isn't ready. You still have to stock it.
Nice. And if you're applying it across a lot of beds or field rows, this is one of those things worth tracking. Timing, where you used it, how crops responded.
Definitely. If you're organized about your planting schedule and amendments, you can actually compare results. Even simple notes help. One bed with charged biochar, one without. Same crop, same watering. That's how you learn whether a product is worth buying again.
So if somebody's shopping this spring, the checklist is pretty straightforward. Look at the feedstock, check the pH, Think about particle size for your soil type, and don't forget to premix it with compost or manure.
That's the heart of it. Biochar isn't flashy, but it can improve water retention, nutrient availability, soil structure, and microbial activity all at once. And on top of that, you're locking carbon into the soil instead of letting it head back into the atmosphere.
Better soil and a lighter footprint. Not bad for a material that looks like you cleaned out a grill.
See, and that's why I have to be here. Thank you for listening to this edition of RootInsect.com, Conversations with Grant and Fiona.